Even though I was writing and coming up with this story of this group of people called the Bandidos, like, I thought I knew who I was writing about. And then when you see like a line of people getting ready to come into a show that wear that and embody that, you realize, oh, that's who that is. That's who the Bandidos are.
Welcome back in to another Audacy check-in at the Hard Rock, New York, in the Rockstar Suite with, I think you guys know these guys, 21 Pilots. Hi.
What's up, man?
Hey.
This is very exciting. The Rockstar Suite in the Hard Rock, full of memorabilia downstairs. Some Beyonce's pants. What are you throwing into the Hard Rock memorabilia pile?
Well, I guess we gotta find some pants to give you.
Right now.
You could have one of my socks.
A sock. I'll
Yeah.
take it. So Clancy is so fascinating to me. I could probably talk to you for hours about this entire journey that you've been on. When you started the project, did you know exactly where you were going to go with Clancy at the beginning of this entire mega world that you created?
The story was, I guess it was a bit of a hybrid in that the overall like arc of it was written out from the beginning, but there were a lot of kind of twists and turns inside of the journey that we made to kind of, I guess in a way we were really inspired by our own fans as the story was being told. There were certain details that came out of the story because of watching how people reacted to it and what they were drawn to. And so it's a bit of a hybrid where we knew what we were going to say and what we wanted to accomplish with the story. And for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, basically the album Blurry Face is a reference to a character in the story that we've been telling who's kind of the antagonist. We find out his real name is Nico. And the lead character of Clancy is constantly hunted down by this character. And a lot of details go into where they're from and how they got there. And I'm really excited to kind of tell how it all ends. And that's what this album is going to do.
So where does this like wanting to tell a story from front to back and then add music videos on top of it on release day, where does that come from?
I think that what I realized is when Josh and I got together, we're like, hey, let's make music and let's do music. You realize that inside of that goal are so many artistic opportunities, whether it's the colors you use to tell the story, the font that you use, the band name, the album title, the album cover. And so where it just starts out is I just want to make music and maybe perform some of it in front of some people. You quickly realize, oh wait, there's a ton more opportunity to be creative other than just making the music. So how can we make this all feel like it's coming from the same place? Because it is. We're not outsourcing any of this to anyone.
I mean, you guys are literally involved in every detail that goes into this kind of stuff, even to the liner design, right?
I mean, we have some awesome people on our team too that've been helping us on the creative side for a long time. So shout outs to our crew of creatives that kind of help us, because we'll be like, okay, hold on. So what is the weather supposed to be like in this, world in the city of Dima? And like, oh, remember we established that, it's cloudy here and there's a sound that happens, at night and all. Like, so there's a lot of details of the world that you create, and sometimes you need to be reminded of what was this character's motivation and what were we trying to do again? So to have a few people to help you kind of collect and archive all of the story that you've been telling has been really important.
I also think that, like Tyler said earlier, kind of being inspired by fans. Because when we started, we were playing in clubs. And so we didn't know, we had kind of like visions and dreams of what, this would turn into. But we didn't know how like deep we could get into it. And then even starting the story, it's kind of just like, okay, well, I hope people care enough to look into the story. And so as time's gone on and we've seen people do like to, find things and understand things, then that gives us more freedom really to be able to expand on that.
When you look at some of the fan theories when they get online, what is one that has actually made it into the story that you're trying to tell? Is there one in particular that rings?
No, I can't think of anything particularly that's made it in. I think that, the importance of, when you think of a color that you would use, so like Trench, our record, a couple records back, we used the color yellow. And, I had this idea of just using tape to identify certain people and certain characters in the story. And then when we saw our fans kind of really adopt that and kind of, I guess, take that tape and put it on themselves and kind of, I don't know how you would describe it. We realized the power of, even though I was writing and coming up with this story of this group of people called the Bandidos that are kind of this a rebel group of people outside of the city that live in more of a wild environment. Like, I thought I knew who I was writing about and coming up with. And then when you see like a line of people getting ready to come into a show that wear that and embody that, you realize, oh, that's who that is. That's who the Bandidos are. And so, if anything, they brought a lot of clarity to who these characters were and what their motivations were.
They realized the vision.
Yeah.
The attention to detail continues into even directing a music video. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Now, when that happens and you're directing a music video for the first time, I'm assuming, right? So who's coming up with that story? Are you coming up with that too, or are you just coming up with the visual representation of it?
I think it was just kind of my interpretation, how I felt about the song when I listened to it. I mean, first of all, because I've never done it, it is a lot harder to come up with an idea to visualize something than I thought it was going to be. So I kind of just started by thinking like, well, what could Tyler be doing where he looks cool? And then that's like kind of where it started. But then kind of like turned into kind of a metaphoric story that felt really good. And I don't know. It was fun to do. It was challenging, but it was fun.
So when you do this, embark on this giant tour, right? It's got to be the biggest 21 Pilots tour of your entire career, right? It's pretty massive.
Maybe.
What is the one surprise, the one thing that you're most excited to show somebody?
We've always talked about when we write songs, it's hard not to imagine what it's going to feel like to perform the songs live. And in a way, a lot of times the decision making when you're writing the song can be impacted and influenced by the fact that it will happen live. And so I think I'm just really excited to play some of the new songs. I don't know. I've been to shows where I've felt a little disappointed in the show because the artist put so much emphasis on the new stuff that it almost felt like they were turning their back on some of the old stuff. And so we want to balance out what is a kind of a delicate thing, which is the set list. How much of the new stuff do you put in? How much of the old stuff do you keep in? I was doing the math the other day. We've got over 90 songs that we've released. It's hard for me not to just get excited about the new stuff. And so I have to kind of remind myself that, you got to balance it out
Sure.
a little more.
Well, thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for the album. Thank you for the time. I think there seems to be like writing a movie is in the future. This feels like that's where it's all heading, isn't it?
Well, it depends on if we can get the actor that Josh wants to play him.
Which is Timothy Chalamet.
It's Tyler's son.
It's my son. We got to wait a few years.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks
you.
for joining us. Yeah.